In 3, 2. Hello there, Internet! Troy to the max extreme here. And Dinosaur Neil.
And Ghost Hunter Day.
And together we are IMPERIUS REX.
Troy, have you ever seen Hocus Pocus?
Not a lick.
Well,
did that intro prove that to be true?
I think it was fine.
Yeah.
Great. I haven't seen it in a while.
This is what I think I would sound like if I was a lady looked like this. On this episode, we are talking about Cullen Buns. Wait.
Yeah?
Yeah. Hold on. On this episode, we are talking about Cullen Bunn's Harrow County. A spooky tale in the mists of Harrow County.
Hold on.
Full of witchcraft.
Do we want to do that again?
Yeah, we can do that. A tale of witchcraft, spookiness, counties. Join us, will you?
Hey guys, quick note from GHD. Sorry this episode is fashionably late. It's been a busy end of the month. We wrapped up our Comics for Classroom fundraiser, which you'll hear more about in a second, along with multiple birthday celebrations, including my own, which was November 2nd, if you feel compelled to send me a fabulous gift. And of course, Halloween weekend, which we rocked out of the park to make up for last year. Real quick, here's some pics of us celebrating the legacy of Austin Powers, going on a ghostly pub crawl, then hunting ghosts, then enjoying a drink aptly named the Ghost Hunter. I mean, could this be any more appropriate? And then taking in some local area parties. What a whirlwind. So, sorry it's late, but really, who gives a shit? Halloween is a state of mind and not just a date on the calendar. So anyway, back to the show.
So thank you for joining us on this most spooky of nights.
Yes.
All Hallows Eve.
Yes.
And as you can see, we hit the goal that we were
That's right.
hoping for that Comics for Classrooms fundraiser that
right.
we were doing, where we are following through dressed as the witches from Hocus Pocus.
Yes. Yep. We met the goal on our live stream Halloween special.
Yeah.
We did it. I mean, the show ran long, but
long.
we hit it during the show,
We did.
regardless.
Yeah.
You might have milked some time there just to make sure
we were
did.
so close, and we did it. So good.
Thank
good
you to
us.
everyone who participated in that.
Yep, it's for the kids.
It's for the kids. No, it's not for kids.
What's that?
Witchcraft.
Oh my.
Except
Well,
for the kids in this.
That's right.
That is directly for them.
Right. Harrow County. A Dark Horse comic publication from Cullen, Bunn, and a Tyler Crook.
Yes. Yes. Tyler Crook, I forgot to mention him in the intro, so sorry for that. But the artwork in this, stellar.
Wow.
Oh
Are we leading off with that?
I might have to return these outfits, so should we lead off with that?
Oh my God.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. This was from 2015 to 2018. It spanned 32 issues. Didn't overstay its welcome.
No.
And it followed Emmy Crawford, an 18-year-old farm girl believed to be the reincarnation of one Hester Beck, a local witch who was killed by the townspeople of Harrow County 18 years ago.
That's right.
It really hits close to home.
It does.
You're farm lads.
We're farm people.
You are farm people.
It does strike. It has like a small town feel to it.
Yeah.
With the townspeople coming together. Not so much that I've been involved in a lot of pitchforks and torches or anything like that.
But you've done your share of witchcraft.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, you have the hat.
It's called my hair, Dave. But if I could talk about the art just for a second.
Let's do it.
Tyler Crook does the art throughout.
Yes.
There is like a fill-in things here and there, but his entire art is watercolor, which I haven't seen anything like this in a while, especially for like a sequential artwork or whatever.
And yeah, for 32 issues or whatever you said.
Yeah.
Holy cow, was he putting in work.
Yeah.
And did that work look amazing.
Yeah. There's something that you can do with watercolors that you can't replicate anywhere else. Like, it's a look all its own.
Insane. Like, the amount of time and effort to make this book what it was.
Right.
It's eye-opening.
Yeah. And it's not also the artwork that I expected for this kind of book, or this kind of tale, rather. But I fell into it pretty quickly, because it's just good-looking stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tyler Crook, amazing. Like, I read the library edition, so in the back matter, it has some of his process on how he puts it. And there's way more steps than what I thought.
Oh my god.
He just doesn't, like, do the roughs and then jump right in. There is way more going on than just that.
And some of the most beautiful pages, in my opinion, throughout the entire book, is the beginning of every single, like, issue.
Oh,
where it's just a spread. It's always a 2-page spread where he has Harrow County spelled out
and hidden in there somewhere.
Hidden in every single one.
Could you spot it in every one?
Some of them were
I
easier
think
than
there were,
others.
there were some that where I was like, that's a stretch.
Yeah.
But I got there.
Yeah.
As I read this, and let me say, I love the artwork on this, but there's something about it that almost invokes like a Norman Rockwell type of like nostalgic, just like very enjoyable, like warm blanket comfort art style.
Yeah.
Where even the most gruesome moments in this don't seem that off-putting.
Right.
Yeah.
And as I was reading this, I was just like wondering, I was playing like devil's advocate, like what if someone else drew this? Like, for example, another Mike Mignola mainstay, like let's say Jason Sean Alexander, who did like some of the Hellboy and the BPRD and the Abe Sapien stuff, where it's super gritty and dark, and I feel like it would change the tone of this book completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the tone that the artwork invokes is the tone of your main character. It's like bright and nice.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And I think that's throughout, even when it does get to like more horror aspects.
It's brutal when it needs to be, but for the most part, it is just very inviting.
Yes.
Where, like, as I'm reading this, I want to live in Harrow County. I'm like, this looks pleasant.
Yes. Yeah.
And
a blanketed sunset or sunrise is like laying all over everything. It's got that golden aura and hue.
Yeah.
It's great.
Everything about it, I just want to, like, spend so much time just soaking in these pages. And it helps because Cullen Bunn on this really knows when to hold back on his dialogue and his writing, where he absolutely lets the imagery speak for the majority of the book.
So, with the art out of the way, why don't we dive into like what the story is about?
Let's get on in.
Let's get on in.
So what do you think about the character of Emmy and her father?
I quite enjoyed actually the bit of strife between them right at the beginning, because it's, you know, it's a horror book, so you're kind of like up in the air of what's going on. Early on, like, he tries to kill her.
Yeah.
On her 18th birthday, so it's like, holy shit, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But I ended up liking the whole relationship between her and her father throughout the book, because it like plays in at the end again.
Yeah.
The mother is MIA, but you get a little bit more on that as the series continues.
Boy, do you.
After, like, that strife that her and her father have, for the most part, like, she has the most supportive father you could ever have. Really.
I just loved how Tyler Crook drew him. He just looks so pleasant.
Yeah. And that's the
So
same
well-rounded.
with Emmy, too. She's always got, like, these just rosy cheeks just smiling away. Like, it's so pleasant. And
can you imagine watercoloring something by hand? Like, just for a minute. Can you imagine? You fuck up, it's there. You have to reprint that whole page.
Yeah.
Oh,
no kidding.
no.
I kind of had that in the back of my mind, is how many times did he screw up a page and have to scrap one? We are introduced to more townspeople and friends. She has another really close friend who's just like, her story plotline is also very interesting.
Bernice. Which I absolutely loved. I mean, this is in the 1930s, so it's in like the bootlegging era. And there's like an African American like suburb, I guess, of Harrow County.
Yeah.
Where there's this like dirt trail that leads to it. And they talk about how during the bootlegging, there were all these wine bottles that were smashed along the dirt road.
Yeah.
And the glass reflected the moonlight. It was just embedded in that dirt. And no matter when as you walk through that trail, there was just like this glittery passageway to this community.
Right. That was one of the small little details that it came back a few times in the book. I'm like, oh, I really fucking like that.
I feel like this book is made up of a lot of great little details and characters that he fully establishes, even though they don't have a ton of screen time or page time, I guess, where he paints like this really big swath over the canvas of Harrow County, and you're left wanting more of all of these people.
So I feel like any other writer, these would be 6 issues a trade, and it would extrapolate more, or maybe it would be more filler. I don't know, depending on who had it. Just like, say a Snyder had it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would end up being bloated. But there are characters in this that, like, I do feel like don't get enough time, and I feel like it's a waste of time for them to be in it. I love the relationship between Emmy and Bernice. That's I think my favorite part of the book, because there's a real arc to it for both the characters. But then when, I would say maybe like a third of the way or maybe halfway through, you meet like this coven of other witches, or warlocks or whatever, and they spend enough time on them, almost 2 trades worth, for them to not really have anything to do but be there. And I felt like that's like the one hiccup of this book, that it takes up a lot of time for nothing. I mean, they do give you background on like Hester and another powerful wizard or witch or whatever that you come to know later, but they as a group don't really do anything. And they even like introduce them as like, this one does this and this one does that. And they have their own superpowers that doesn't do anything. And I felt like at that point in time in the series when I'm reading it, it really slowed it down. And if we could play a clip here, this is a preview of me reading the book about here. So you're going to enjoy that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So there's that.
You weren't a fan of the other witches?
I wasn't. Not
Really?
at all.
Wow.
They didn't do enough for me to be like, oh, cool. Even that Levi guy that shows up.
They didn't do anything. But I kind of liked that they were all there. Like,
I needed them to be more important, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. And even at the end, I didn't feel like they were.
Yeah. So they were. Yeah. I'm kind of in the middle of you guys. Oh my goodness. I do see what you're saying. I like the characterization of some of them, and the ones that actually play a big role aren't even in the story.
Yeah.
Like the main one who's like they tell a little bit about and is the most powerful one is hardly in it at all, kind of a thing. Amaryllis, yeah. But there are little characterizations I love about each one of these. It would have been nice to extrapolate on some of them, like Levi like kills a bird and then plays it like a flute as he walks through the woods, which is neat. There's one that like knits time or knits fate and stuff, like little cool elements like that they each have, and that you kind of are wanting a little bit more on. But that kind of brings me back to how I think this book, it takes a totally different path than I was expecting it to take. Like, I thought like that first kind of arc where she meets her twin, like her evil twin.
Yeah.
Cammy.
And like, it's a pretty good arc, but I was expecting that to be like the whole thing, essentially.
Yeah.
But they get into like all of these little, this other stuff in between, and it's just like, it's not the route that I would have expected this book to take, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But I like where it did go, because the characterizations of the main characters were so good.
We talked about how great Tyler Crook's artwork is, let's talk about some of the character design.
Yeah.
And the characters in this.
Let's talk about the word haint real quick first.
Because that word I should have known before this.
I don't know. It's just another word for like ghost or ghoul or goblin or something, but it's like a southern word for like ghost.
Haunt.
I love it. Haunt. It's haint. They say
Haint.
it a lot, and I
Haint.
love it. And we're going to get into some haints right now.
So yeah, the Skinless Boy. This is a great visual that I don't know if I've ever really seen before this.
Yeah, it was the cover to the first issue.
Yeah. Emmy's familiar.
That one right there.
There he is. He's reaching out to get me over my shoulder. Yeah, the Skinless Boy, who she packs up in her purse and carries along with her, and the skin like just moans throughout the time.
Uses at her.
Yeah.
And then,
I don't know how you guys read it, but I was always like, Emmy.
Oh man, mine was more of a whisper. It didn't have much enunciation on it at all.
Mine was more like a.
You got me stuffed in this bag all the time.
Well, there are a few other haints that are also pretty great.
Yeah.
Like she meets a whole slew of them right away.
Yeah.
Really a great visual one are the orange like skeleton ghouls that come up out of like they don't do anything. All they do is stand there looking spooky, and it's great.
It'd be Ghost Rider without his clothes on.
Exactly. Yeah. There's also like these like mud muck men things that come out.
They were cool.
The bone sauce.
Oh, yeah, they all need bone sauce.
So as Emmy learns more about her abilities and her true lineage is uncovered, along with revelations about the townsfolk of Harrow County itself, the understanding of cruelty and the corruption that can stem from even the best of intentions.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
That was deep.
I like it.
All right.
I like it a lot.
All right. So as the story progresses, she encounters her twin, for lack of better terms. This is Cammy, who has come from the big city. She's come to Harrow County, and she is awful.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Country mouse, city mouse type situation.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, she is like the exact opposite from Emmy. Just a little bit. She's brash.
Yep.
She's sassy.
Oh, she got some sass.
Mean to her paw.
Oh.
Mean to her. That butler or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, he'll wait. And he does. Because I guess he's a bitch. I wouldn't put up that kid's shit. It's the 30s. You can hit him then.
Whoa. It wouldn't be a Spooktober episode if I didn't have some treats for you.
What is this? Okay. All right.
So, if you remember, I gifted you some Batman 89 trading cards.
I do remember that.
With the gum.
Yeah.
Intact.
Yes.
And I hoped you would chew the gum.
I have not yet opened them.
You didn't open them because they're vintage.
Yes, I don't dare open them.
No. Well.
He opened the gum, didn't he?
Please.
I went ahead and bought some more Batman 89 trading cards.
Oh my god.
Because I think we need you to chew the gum.
Come on. A break in the action to chew old gum?
So.
All right. Give me the gum.
Let's
Is there two gums? Nope, one stick of gum.
Just one stick of gum.
I feel bad that this is from the 80s.
Yeah, it's not going to do you any favors. But Neil, I don't think it's going to it's not going to be any worse than what's already in your
It's just open
it's
in there.
It's like loose gum.
Yeah, it's loose gum.
This feels like the glass in the road of Harrow County. Oh my god.
God damn it, David.
This is
It's
so...
just chalk.
Did you call me David?
This is so dry.
Yeah.
It is like absorbing all the moisture
All the
from
spit
my
in your
mouth.
mouth? I know.
That is the most...
Was it good in the 80s? I don't know.
Is this what gum was like in the 80s?
That's dog shit gum.
That was horrible.
Did you eat it? Did you swallow it? Did you
It just dissolves. After it absorbs all of your liquids, it just flows down your throat.
Now it's just chalk. My mouth is just chalky.
You're better now. What do we got here?
Oh, he's within the bat cave, though. Holy cow.
What do we got from back?
And these are just cardboard?
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
god,
a
that's
pretty
a
good
great one.
Frame that.
I
Look
will.
at this one.
I'm glad you're dead. Where
Oh,
he fights
sweet.
Blade.
Yeah. Wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you?
Oh my god. Look at this old bitch.
Alfred the Butler.
TM. That gum is dog shit. Oh my
Probably
god.
the worst thing I've put in my mouth lately.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd rather do ghost pepper again.
Do you want me to get you another ghost pepper?
No.
Absolutely not. Can I have a beer?
Yeah.
Or something to get the shit taste out of my mouth?
You want a beer? Beer.
That can't be good for you, right? Like, how much of that was asbestos?
It tasted like attic.
Yeah!
It did. I feel like I've tasted that before,
Yeah.
and I can't put my finger on it. It tastes like an old wooden chest.
Yeah.
So how about Hester?
Hester, power player in this book.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Favorite thing she ever did was blow someone in half with a big old pirate ship cannon. Oh, my God. It was pretty great. Now, Hester is honestly menacing. And, even when she's not around, she's around the beginning, and she's pretty much around at the end. And through the middle, it's always teased oh, she's coming back.
Right.
Oh.
And she
Reach is strong.
yeah,
Very
she
strong.
is. She's pretty terrifying as far as villains go.
I think the visual of Hester is top notch.
Yeah, just like the straight
It's like a
black
bit of,
hair.
like the ring girl,
Yeah.
a little bit the hair down in front of her.
Eyes covered by the hair, sinister smile,
Yep.
white bloodied dress, and
Yeah.
the hangman's noose around her neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great visuals.
It's a good look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, did she pull that off?
And as you said, she's introduced in the beginning to set up everything that Emmy's all about. And then she's kind of vacant, but the threat of her is always there. They bring her up probably every other page.
Oh,
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Hester.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not to its detriment at all, but
No.
it's just a looming figure that's oh, you spawned from her.
Yeah.
She was evil. What are you?
Yeah.
Type stuff. And then at the end, comes full circle again. She's resurrected, and then it's a whole big thing.
Yeah.
Now that
Oh, it's a
Hester's
whole
back.
thing.
Yeah, Hester's back in a big way, baby.
Yeah. And even almost all of Emmy's storyline is taken up of her trying to persuade people that she's not Hester.
Yeah.
She's not bad, but everyone's just still don't trust you.
Yeah.
But she's
I remember Hester.
I'm not. Yeah, Hester was terrible.
Hester would do that.
Everybody in Harrow County is also that judgy old lady, too. It's
Mhm.
I remember her. She's bad news. You're nothing but bad news, too, Emmy. You're from her. We know it.
But could you cure my cough later?
Yeah. Yeah. I got some sick chickens. You want to come over here and talk to them a minute? they ain't been laying very good. But we also find out too that there's still I would say a human magic. It's almost like a John Constantine type stuff where
Yeah.
they're not really magic themselves, but they can conjure up things that fight against evil magic and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like Bernice
Yeah.
meets
Yeah.
the I don't know, witch doctor lady.
The old lady in the woods. I could not remember her name.
I can't remember her name off the top of my head either, but
Yeah,
she
the
comes
snake
in.
doctor woman.
Yeah, the coppermouth lady that
Yeah.
keeps the snakes in jars.
Mhm.
She comes in later on and is like a mentor to Bernice and shows her a thing or two about
Yeah.
fighting witches.
Yep.
And because she's like, you can't trust that bitch, Emmy. What do you think she's doing? She's from Hester. You know that shit? You don't know that shit? Look at all these snakes in jars. You think I do this for fun? Fuck no. So fight witches. This is no fun. And shows her all this thing how to fight. And that was when I found the story really interesting when
Yeah.
Bernice got behind the wheel of all that demon fighting stuff. And she came clashing head, because before then they're really chummy together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like that spurred the things like, you can't trust her. It's like, well, she's my friend. Is she your friend? She seems pretty, well, she's controlling you to make her your friend. Well, shit, I didn't think about that. Look at all those snakes.
She must be telling the truth. The ending, like 2 to 3 trades of this book are awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I would say that's the strongest stuff. You got the full character development behind it, and it's not like so much a sprint to the end, but you kind of know what's going to happen near the end, where it's going to be a showdown.
Yeah.
But they eventually end up kind of working together, and they don't go head to head, but they get separated, and then Emmy has to take on Hester
Mano y mano.
mano y mano.
But there's more going on at play, because there are things that the witches can do to become more powerful. They, once Hester, oh boy, how do we even, there's so much.
I know, I feel like we almost need to back all the way up. We won't, but...
So there's a lot more to this world that kind of leads up to the end. We've talked about this coven of witches, and there's one that we kind of alluded to, Amaryllis, who is like the most powerful of all of them.
Yeah.
She's the one who could do almost anything at will, whereas all of them have these like little gimmicks that they do that they're their own little specialty. She could do pretty much everything.
Right.
And like Hester was like the antithesis to her. So Amaryllis thought she could bring out the best in her, but Hester was like just like pure evil. She was the only one created in this specific way, and ended up destroying Amaryllis and then eating her to consume her power. Like literally eating her.
Yeah.
And that comes into play later.
When Hester was created, because she was created by this other counterpart to Amaryllis, who was like what's his name? Yeah, Malachi, who is a major player in this, but you don't even know it, because there is one more hate that we have yet to bring up. And it's this big minotaur that you see throughout, who goes by the Abandoned.
Yeah.
And then you find out later in a backstory of his that, like, no, I'm actually Malachi. And then he gives a whole backstory on this whole coven, and how he and Amaryllis were a thing, and he created Hester, and ended up consuming Amaryllis, which breaks down to later, where they are, no, hold on. But when Emmy is born, it's like it's a whole thing where it's like a duplicity thing, where Hester eats Amaryllis, but it's like 2 inside 1. And then later on, Emmy is a part of Hester, and that's split off again.
The way I saw it, or the way I understood it is Cammy was Hester reincarnated.
Okay, yeah.
And then Emmy was Amaryllis reincarnated.
Thank you.
That's how... So, like, that's kind of like the twist in the end. That's kind of one of the twists that gets, like, 3/4 of the way through the book. So, you think all this time that, oh, she's Hester reincarnate. That's why everyone's afraid of her. But they never knew of this whole other witch coven and Amaryllis and all of this stuff. And then Hester comes back and slashes all of their faces off, and then
she
eats
sure
them.
does.
She slashes all their faces off. They're all like, putting all their faces back on. She kills them and eats them all. So she's got the power of all of those witches then. And then that brings into like a really tough plot that Emmy's in, where she's like, I'm underdogged. I don't know what to do. And it, like, is conflicted with her own morality and ends up in a fit, kind of like eating the parts of Cammy.
I feel like we have to back up so much on that.
No, push forward.
There's a lot to...
And all of that is like explained. It's not all an info dump right there like we just did it. It's like explained through issues where you get bits and pieces here. But like, it's a whole thing where people are eating the shit out of each other. That doesn't have to be in there.
Yeah.
But
that's absolutely going to be there. So what did you think overall on Harrow County? 8 volumes, 32 issues.
Yeah.
Halloween spooktacular. End of the road.
Yeah. That's right.
What do you think as we close out the month?
Overall, I'd give it a thumbs up for sure. Artwork carries a lot of it there. It's just beautiful stuff by Crook. Story-wise, I think it started off really good. I didn't know what to expect. And then, to me, the middle kind of dragged until it got to, like, the last 4 issues, where it was awesome again. But, like, the middle isn't wasted on a ton, in my opinion, because you build a lot of character development. You get a lot of these friendships and things that are made and broken and tested and this and that. And it's really makes the end a lot more impactful.
I agree with it. I think the premise of it is really strong. For being like a horror story, like it's not really scary. Like there's nothing that really sat with me for whatever reason. I did feel like that one point around the same time, Neil, like I didn't really care what was going on. Like when that other coven was introduced, I'm like, I don't care about this. I did really like Bernice and Emmy and their relationship. That I felt that was the strongest part.
Even the skinless boy
was
had
cool.
a really touching send-off, actually.
Yeah.
Like just horrible. Like he's always been the most helpful thing to Emmy, and he tries to help Emmy and to defeat Hester in the end.
Yeah.
Crawls through just amazing
thorn pit,
thorns.
and it's just torn up before he's like, I'm gonna get it. Like he doesn't speak, but like he's ready to get Hester, and Hester just rips the flesh off of all of his bones. And like then he has like a ghostly send off at the end where he runs toward a ghostly family, and it's actually very touching.
But yeah, what about you, Dave?
I think you're all idiots. I think it's a fantastic read. So I read this maybe when it was on like volume 5 of the trades. I like read it all the way through to that point, and I was like, wow, this is really good. I kept hearing about it, and like everyone has seen this image.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this thing? It looks gross.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to read this.
Yeah.
And I was worried that it wasn't going to stick the landing.
Yeah.
But as I came back to it, I was like, holy shit, this pulled it all together. And even though, I mean, you guys said that it kind of like meandered a little bit, I didn't think it was too bad. Like, I liked the little like sidetrack to the other witches, because I thought anytime they brought in something else, it was unique enough that like I wanted more of it, rather than like, why did you bring this in? It's not like fulfilling the main storyline.
I would say another strength of it, though, is also its brevity. It's telling the story it wants to tell, and then it's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like 32 issues, that's still quite a good solid run there.
Yeah.
And it absolutely does stick the landing.
And there is a continuation, even though this does have a very, like, it has an ending.
Yeah.
There is a Tales of Harrow County story that I think is in 2 volumes right now, which focuses on Bernice, who kind of took over from
yeah, that'd be great.
From Emmy. And I imagine they're good. They're from Cullen Bunn, but like I'm good with this right now.
Yeah.
I want to kind of see how those play out, and then I'll read them. But like right now, like I'm good. So that's it, everybody. Troy, you've just you've run the gauntlet.
I've got an achievement.
Yes, you did.
Achievement unlocked.
Yes.
Very nice.
4, maybe 5 spooky episodes.
Yeah. I made it.
You did it.
All my guts are still inside me.
Oh,
My foot intact.
wow.
As
Nobody
of right
saw it
now,
coming.
I am okay. I made it.
My God.
I didn't think it would ever happen.
Let's see how your Thanksgiving treats. Yeah.
Fuck.
We wrapped up Spooktober, which I've just taken to calling it right now. On the outset of the month. But we raised the money for the fundraiser.
That's right.
We brought Troy to the finish line.
That's right.
And we read a bunch of great horror books.
Right.
You sure did.
I'm glad you held my hand through this. Don't think I would have made it.
We're gonna stick you under.
Right here.
We're gonna put you in a post.
Put you right under a post.
We did it together as a team. So thanks everybody who's been joining us on this very spooky endeavor. Thanks to all the patrons out there, and thanks to the donators for our fundraiser that we raised. I can't wait to donate these books.
Dump these books off and be like,
yeah,
boom, we did it!
we did it! And all these kids are like, thanks. Happy Halloween, everybody.
That's right. Yeah. Until next time, I've been Short of the Max Extreme.
I've been Dinosaur Neil.
And I've been Ghost Hunter Dave.
And together, we've been witching around as Imperius Rex. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for the gross fucking gum. You've been called the Bette Midler of a new generation.
Oh, wow. I'm the Bette Midler of Imperius Rex.
No, I got enough going on in my